Welcome back, everybody. Noah, aka Anabolis here. In today's topic, we're going to be discussing the art of detachment and reality creation. How this is such a pinnacle to manifestation, to experiencing more flow in your life, to having the things you want and doing so in a more relaxed, effortless, seemingly effortless manner. Because what tends to go awry as we're going about achieving our goals, and if you're watching this, you've probably experienced this yourself, where we are experiencing unnecessary strain and force in creating the things that we want to have, or we find ourselves always seeking something, always in pursuit of something, only to have it elude us. And so you're looking for a resolution to that. Well, this will be your answer. So stay tuned as we delve further into this concept, because again, it is a pinnacle of this work of being a conscious creator and having some sustainability in that. So the art of detachment essentially means detachment from the outcome. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't an outcome you're focused on. There's a nuance there, but it is detachment from that outcome. It is taking off excessive importance on having that thing, because as we'll discuss going forward, you'll see that when you place excessive importance on having that thing come to you externally, materially, that is signaling to you, it is signaling energetically to the quantum field, okay, to the infinite potentials of energy all around us, that you don't already have that thing in your lifeline. So detachment from the outcome. And so this applies, again, to those who are experiencing excessive worry of the future outcome. You feel strain or force to make things happen in your life. You find yourself micromanaging or overthinking details in your work, or you are overthinking your relationships, making those work, and you're just feeling generally overwhelmed and burnt out as a result of this strain, this force, this inability to detach from that outcome, to see it as inevitable ultimately. Because as we'll discuss, detachment from outcome is seeing your outcome as inevitable. So if you're experiencing any of these things, then this video is just for you. Now, I have a quote here from the Tao Te Ching, and it is perfect to illustrate this concept: yield and overcome. So you're overcoming your resistance, let's say, or the problem you're experiencing right now in your business, your health, your relationship, any of these things. You're overcoming, you will overcome through yielding, overcoming through surrender. And it's a paradoxical concept a lot, especially to a more Western mind that is used to this continual striving and forcing and overcoming and needing to be combative with oneself. Combatives, that's the word, combative, I believe so. This is offering a different element, a different concept of yielding to overcome, like water. Okay, water surrenders to what it flows around, and in doing that, it overcomes. It overcomes that obstacle. So detachment, the art of detachment, is learning to overcome through yielding, through surrender. And that yielding, what are we yielding to? It is ultimately yielding to the vision. Okay, if you've watched the Confidence and Clarity Master class that I created, and I'll link to the description, I'll link to that in the description below. If you watched that, we got clear on creating a vision and understanding the importance of having clarity, having a vision, because the vision informs the change in your life and bringing that into the present moment in your behaviors, in the skills you're acquiring, in the environment that you put yourself in, internally and externally. Yielding. So we're yielding to this vision that we've crafted. You still have an outcome in mind, and you see that, and you have a desire for that, even to make that a reality. You have a burning desire to make that a reality. But there is still this element of detachment and being able to yield to needing that thing to happen, to having this excessive importance placed on having that thing happen. Because again, when you place that importance, you're signaling to the universe that you don't already have that thing coming to you. And that's a very interesting concept, right? To think of the fact that you're signaling to the universe that you don't already have it, right? as though the end were now. Well, the end is now. Okay, the vision is already real by fact of your imagination. And this is where the work really comes into play. Okay, so Neville Goddard, who is a mystic, a modern mystic, modern American mystic, lived in the 20th century, mid 20th century, was very well versed in the biblical scriptures and understanding the Bible and the creation story in the life of Christ as this revelation of consciousness and this I amness, that our Christ consciousness, our power, our creative power, comes through realizing that this is known as the law of assumption, that when we assume the end state now in the present moment, that is what brings it into material form, because you first made it real in your imagination. And so that this is in the Bible, it's summed up in the second chapter of Genesis in the second verse, where God at the end of creation on the seventh day rested in his work, because his work was complete. Creation was finished. And it's the same way with you now. And because this is an esoteric experience, the Bible is relaying an esoteric journey of the soul, of the psyche, of consciousness. Okay, when you rest in knowing that the work is done, you realize that the end is happening now. And so resting in the wish fulfilled, as Neville Goddard continuously said, resting in the wish fulfilled is ultimately accepting the end, accepting that it has happened, that it is here now, that you don't need to do or say or try to make things happen. You don't need to force that to happen, but it comes to you and it materializes as a result of you simply accepting it, what you imagined, because your consciousness, your imagination is creating your reality. So when you realize that, you can better detach from these feelings of worry or overwhelm, being overwhelmed or burnt out. You can relax, you can step back and allow your subconscious mind, the powerful part of your mind, the more powerful part of your mind that is connected to everyone and everything around you. You can allow that part of yourself to simply move through you, in a sense, to allow these chance encounters, these synchronicities to come about, because you are relaxed, you have accepted the end. An acceptance of the end is akin to detachment from the outcome, like we mentioned in the beginning of this video. Okay, acceptance of the end is detachment from the outcome, detachment from your vision, needing that thing to happen, straining to make that thing happen, to see it come to fruition externally, because you realize that everything external is a reflection of what is happening internally. As without, so within, as within, so without. So in accepting the end, we are detaching from the outcome and realizing your vision is here in the present moment, and that you are that person you desire to be right now. Those characteristics, those traits, those qualities, when you bring that into the present moment now, when you situate yourself in that internal environment now, that is what creates the change. And that is what allows you to rest in the wish fulfilled. That is resting in the wish fulfilled. That is spiritual rest, resting whilst you continue to act, because your action is now not from a place of strain or force, but it comes from a place of power. And this whole notion of detachment also gets into this term that was most famously proposed by Alan Watts, but it is a universal term nonetheless. It is a universal law, you could say, and it is the backwards law. And it is this, that the more you pursue, the more you strive to see things coming to existence outside of you, the more you are forcing that and straining that to make that happen, the more it's going to elude you. And maybe at some point you can make that thing happen by forcing, by straining, but you're going to be burnt out. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to exhaust yourself over time. And the backwards law is here to reserve and to maximize your energetic capacity, to allow you to bring your energy back, to realize that the internal is creating the external, that the external is reflecting back the internal. So when you can make this shift within, you can make that shift without. And it's just a matter of time before that happens. And that's what the backwards law illustrates. The more you pursue out here, the more it'll lose you. Because when you are continually pursuing these things externally of you, that again is signaling that you don't already have it in imagination. You're not trusting in imagination. You need only accept the end, accept what you have professed, what you have imagined to be true. And so with the backwards law, with that notion of the more you pursue, the more it eludes you, it comes back again to this that we've been discussing, that placing too much importance on seeing that thing materialize, okay, seeing that partner come into your life, seeing yourself attain this dollar amount or make that sale, seeing yourself have that type of body, okay, placing too much importance on these things externally, on these visible manifestations, you are signaling again to yourself, to the quantum field, that you do not already have that thing. Let me explain a little bit more about what the quantum field is. So science, okay, is discovering more and more that at the base of all matter, okay, at the base of our cells, if you look at the most elementary particles of matter, it is space, it is energy. It's immaterial. It is all energy and information. Okay, so what does that mean? We are ultimately these antennae of that are receiving information. Okay, it's receiving the information, and what is that information? It's the information of our minds, of our consciousness, what we are professing to be true, the perceptions by which we choose to live. That is informing our physiology. It's informing how we show up in the world. Okay, you can look at the Bruce Lipton's The Biology of Belief. You know, Joe Dispenza talks a lot about this in his meditations and his book Becoming Supernatural and his workshops, all premised on utilizing the mind to actually induce healing into the body. And there have been practices, thousand-year-old practices that understand this, right? These spiritual texts understand this, that at the base of all matter is consciousness, that we are truly at our core consciousness. And so to get this back to the quantum field, essentially when you are thinking a certain way, when you have a certain pattern of thoughts and feelings and behaviors, let's just keep it at thoughts. When you have a certain pattern of thoughts, okay, you are resonating with what is called a lifeline. Okay, there are infinite potentials in this quantum field. There are infinite lifelines. If you've ever seen the movie Interstellar, this is kind of highlighting that, where if you've seen it, in the end, you know, Matthew McConaughey's kind of floating in this space of his daughter's bedroom, and there's these infinite potentials, infinite variations of what happens in this space of these different lifelines on which his daughter could have been. And so in the same way, we are always in the present moment placing ourselves or setting ourselves up for a different lifeline, depending on how we're showing up right now, depending on what we're focusing on right now. So what does that mean with detachment and reality creation? Well, in this moment right now, you have something you want to achieve. You have a desire. You have something on which you're focused. Could be your health, could be having more love in your life, having a greater sense of community, feeling more connected, could be making a certain network in your life for your business and improving your finances. Okay, when you see these things, or when you have a desire for these things, if you are placing too much importance in this present moment, if you are doubtful, if you are fearful, or rather if you are focusing on the fear and the doubt and identifying with that fear and that doubt, you're placing yourself on a lifeline where you don't already have it. Because in this quantum field, okay, in this space, time is not linear, but it's all experienced now. It's the end is the same as the present. So bringing the end into the present, accepting the end, is what changes your trajectory, changes your lifeline. So all of that to say that in placing too much importance on having something show up to you externally, okay, that is signaling that you don't already have it, and therefore it will continue to elude you, though you continue to place more energy, more effort, more strain in having that thing externally. And again, you could make that happen. It can come about like that, but it's going to be forceful and depleting over time and leading to the burnout, the overwhelm that you're experiencing right now. Okay, David Hawkins in his book, Power versus Force, kind of elicits these forceful versus powerful states. If you listen to David Bayer's work, he talks about primal versus powerful states. And it's a similar notion of, you know, where we on this David Hawkins has this scale of consciousness where at the lower end you have these more forceful states of shame, guilt, fear, anger, doubt could be put in there as well. And then as you ascend that scale, you have these more expansive, lighter states of love, acceptance, joy, peace. And those are states of power. So when you're acting from a place of too much importance and there's frustration involved, let's say, in making something happen, there's doubt or there's fear that it won't happen. Okay, you're acting from a forceful state. You're acting from this more contracted state, and your consciousness is vibrating at a lower level. And so what can you do with that? Well, you can notice that. You can use your awareness. Okay, again, in the masterclass, the free masterclass that I have, the link is in the description for that. I talk about awareness, acceptance, and affirmation, using this to help reprogram your subconscious mind so you're more naturally, more confident, more clear-headed, you know where you're going, you show up more present in your relationships, and really making any kind of change at a subconscious level. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure to go check that out. But you can notice those forceful states, become aware of them. Okay, accept that you've been operating from this place, surrender to it in a way so that you can now surrender and accept the end. Okay, because what you resist persists. So if you are just continuing to resist, let's say, accepting that you've been acting from this place, okay, if you can accept that now, that is the first step to then making that transformation at a subconscious level. And this is why something like Alcoholics Anonymous is such a powerful container and has such a powerful process, okay? Because that one of the first step is surrender and acceptance to a power greater than yourself, and surrendering that you can make the change that you desire to have now. And it's the same here. You can notice those forceful states. You can notice that you've been placing too much, where you've been placing too much importance on something, and accept that. And now through the practice of affirmation or auto-suggestion, through the power of the conscious mind, you can reprogram the subconscious mind in a place where you are striving, satisfied, let's say. You are acting with a burning desire, but there is a detachment from the outcome. You are letting go of the need to see that thing come about externally because you know it to be true already. You know the end is now. Okay, creation is complete, and that is acting from a state of power. So the solution to this, and we've kind of already mentioned this, is stop pursuing, or rather stop caring or placing excessive importance on whatever that thing is for you right now. Stop pursuing it. Yield and overcome, like in the Tao Te Ching. Yield and overcome. Yield to the vision. Surrender to the vision. Surrender to the end. Creation is complete. When you can let go and just allow yourself to be the person that you desire to be right now, that is what brings that thing to you. It's the law of attraction or the law of assumption, as Neville Goddard had it. That is what allows it to come into your life. And this bridge of incidence is built. That is the how, let's say how that thing comes about. This bridge of incidence is built, which brings that thing into fruition, into being. Okay, but it begins by yielding to the end. Okay, the end is what allows, the end creates the means. So the end is what allows that thing to come into being. And that is how you overcome your resistance, let's say. It's overcoming through surrender, overcoming through yielding. You stop pursuing. You stop caring so much about that thing. You let it go. You let go and you let God. You let the power greater than you bring that thing into being. Stop worrying so much about all the details, all the hows. You're not supposed to worry about the how. You focus on the what and the why, because the what and the why create the how. You focus on the being, okay, because the being creates the doing, and the doing creates the having, right? So focus on the being, and that is where the art of detachment comes from. It is who you are being now. If you can be that person you desire to be now, that is how you will overcome. So I hope you found this video to be helpful. If you want more content like this, and this is really catching your ears, and you really feel like you're looking for a change, looking for coaching in this regard, and want to take your awareness, your creative power to the next level, then be sure to comment, like, subscribe. There's a one-on-one coaching application, and the link is in the description, as is the link for joining the Anabolus Academy for totally free. Okay, it's a group of high-performing individuals dedicated to optimizing their health, their mindset, their relationships, and enhancing their business strategy, networking with one another, and leaning on one another, helping each other reflect back to each other how to shift, how to become more aware, how to accept more, and just implementing that muscle of mindfulness and repeating that again and again so that we can obtain that change we desire. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.